Get off this property before the deputies arrive. I looked at Vanessa Caldwell, then down at the gravel beneath my boots. My property? The Silver Ridge Community Access Corridor. This is my land. Vanessa smiled. You keep saying that like it changes anything. Then she raised her phone. I'm calling the sheriff's office. Go ahead. That wasn't the answer she expected. She called anyway. Yes, I need a deputy at the Silver Ridge East Access. We have a trespasser refusing to leave HOA-controlled property. I stared at her. Trespasser? She covered the phone. You were warned twice. I've paid taxes on this land for 19 years. And the county already confirmed our rights. That got my attention. Which county order? Vanessa tapped the folder under her arm. You'll see. 12 minutes later, a sheriff's SUV rolled through my gate. Vanessa walked straight toward it. That's him. The deputy stepped out, looked at me, and stopped. Judge Hale? Vanessa slowly lowered her hand. You know him? He's the county judge. For the first time all morning, she had nothing to say. Then she smiled again. Perfect. She opened her folder and pulled out a document bearing the county seal. Then Judge Hale should recognize this. She handed it to the deputy. The county abandoned this road years ago. Silver Ridge controls it now. I saw the recording number, the signatures, the county stamp. The document was real. And suddenly Karen wasn't arguing with a colorful HOA map anymore. She had an actual county order. The only question was whether she understood what it said. My name is Andrew Hale. I was 61 and I had served as a county judge for almost 18 years. But none of that was supposed to matter on my property. The 22 acres had belonged to my father. He bought them 34 years earlier, when the area was mostly pasture, woods, and two-lane county roads. There was an old farmhouse, a pole barn, a windbreak, and a gravel lane running along the eastern side of the property. Decades earlier, part of that lane had been used as a public road. Then the county built a better route nearby. Traffic disappeared. The old road became little more than a gravel strip my father used for tractors and farm equipment. When Dad died, the property came to me. Recorded deed, recorded parcel, annual tax bill, nothing complicated. Silver Ridge didn't exist yet. The development arrived years later on land north and east of mine. At first I liked having neighbors nearby. The houses were well maintained. The HOA kept its common areas clean. Most residents were friendly. Then Vanessa Caldwell became board president. Vanessa wasn't loud all the time. That would have made her easier to deal with. She was polished, organized, always carrying a folder, always speaking as if whatever she wanted had already been reviewed by someone more important. The first problem looked harmless. Silver Ridge extended a walking trail toward the northeast corner of my property. Then fresh gravel appeared beyond their fence, 20 feet, then 40, then wooden stakes. One Saturday I found a sign beside my old lane. Silver Ridge Community Access. I pulled it out and placed it beside their fence. The following weekend it was back. This time there were two. I called Silver Ridge Management. Your signs are on my parcel, the manager said. They should be marking the community access corridor. What community access corridor? The old road. The old road is on my land. There was a pause. I'll have the board contact you. Vanessa called the next morning. Andrew, I understand you've been removing association signage from my property. The corridor isn't private property. According to what? The Silver Ridge Master Plan. Is the master plan a deed? She paused. The route has been recognized for decades. Silver Ridge hasn't existed for decades. That doesn't mean the access rights are new. Then send me the recorded easement. Her voice cooled. You're making this more difficult than necessary. No. I'm asking a very simple question. A week later I received a certified letter. Notice of interference with common access. The HOA accused me of obstructing what it called a historic community access corridor. According to the letter, removing signs interfered with pedestrian access and created a safety concern. Then came the warning. Further interference may result in enforcement action and referral to local authorities. That part interested me. My property wasn't inside Silver Ridge. I wasn't a member of its HOA. So I replied with one sentence. Please provide the recorded document giving Silver Ridge ownership or access rights over my parcel. Vanessa answered personally. The association is not obligated to provide internal legal documentation in response to every challenge to established community rights. That was a lot of words for no. But I knew enough about old roads not to assume she was completely wrong. Property records can get messy. A road can cross private land. An easement can survive a sale. A public right-of-way can exist even when the underlying soil belongs to someone else. So I checked. I went to the county clerk's office and requested the same public records anyone could request. My current deed, my father's deed, historic road maps, the recorded Silver Ridge plat, and the file for the old gravel road. That was where I found something important. 12 years earlier, the county had formally vacated the remaining public right-of-way over part of the old lane. I read the order carefully. The county had abandoned its public road interest. That meant the county no longer maintained that section as a public road. but nowhere did the order say. Transfer to Silver Ridge. In fact, the recorded exhibit showed the old right-of-way lying within my father's parcel. I ordered certified copies. Then I called my attorney. He reviewed them. Silver Ridge may be confusing vacation of a public right-of-way with ownership of the land underneath it. Do they have another easement? Nothing I can find. Any deed? No. Any recorded access agreement? No. That should have ended it. Instead, Vanessa escalated. The following Saturday, I arrived to find orange paint along the gravel lane, survey stakes, a pallet of landscape timbers, and a contractor preparing to install what he called a pedestrian trail connection. I walked over. Who authorized this? Silver Ridge HOA. Did they give you a survey? A site plan? Did anyone verify the property line? He looked at the stakes. These are the locations they gave us. I handed him a copy of my parcel map. This is my land. To his credit, he didn't argue. He called his supervisor. 10 minutes later, the crew stopped work. 40 minutes after that, Vanessa's white SUV came through my gate, and she wasn't there to look at a map. Vanessa got out wearing a red blazer over a cream blouse. Board member Martin Cole stepped out behind her. So did Lisa Grant from the management company. Vanessa looked at the idle equipment, then at me. You shut down our contractor. I stopped them from building on my property. You have no authority to stop an approved HOA project. I do when the project is on my land. This is not your land. Then show me whose it is. She opened her folder. There it was again. The Silver Ridge Master Plan. The old gravel strip was shaded yellow and labeled Community Access Corridor. I looked at it. Still not a deed. It reflects the legal status of the corridor. Recorded where? The county abandoned this road years ago. Yes. Then it became part of the adjoining community access. No, Vanessa stared at me. Excuse me? The county abandoning a public road doesn't automatically give the dirt to your HOA. That's your interpretation. It's what the property record shows. The board has already reviewed this. With an attorney? Our documentation is sufficient. Then show me the title document. She closed the folder. You're not entitled to interrogate the board. I'm entitled to ask why your contractor is standing on my property. Vanessa stepped closer. This corridor has been used by Silver Ridge residents for years. How many? That's irrelevant. It matters if you're claiming some historic right. You don't get to cross-examine me. I almost laughed. I asked how many years. Her face tightened. Then she switched arguments. This route is necessary for emergency access. To a walking trail? For community safety. What emergency vehicle are you planning to drive down a 4-foot trail? That isn't the point. Then what is? The point is that you've repeatedly interfered with HOA property. I looked at Martin. He wasn't nearly as confident as Vanessa. I asked him, has the board seen a recorded deed for this strip? Vanessa answered for him. The board approved the project. That wasn't what I asked. Martin started. I think council was supposed to. Martin, Vanessa cut him off. He stopped. That caught my attention. What was council supposed to do? Vanessa ignored me. Instead, she pulled out a second letter. You were given formal notice not to interfere. I responded. You removed association property. The signs? Yes, I moved them off my parcel. Correct. And now you're refusing to leave the work area. I looked around. My work area? HOA work area. On my parcel. There you go again, because you keep standing on it. Lisa looked away. Martin rubbed his forehead. Vanessa took out her phone. Fine. What now? You've made it clear you won't cooperate. With what? A lawful HOA project. So law enforcement can remove you. Martin immediately said. Vanessa, wait. No. We should call council. We already have the county documentation. Do we? She turned on him. Yes. Then she called dispatch. My name is Vanessa Caldwell. I'm president of the Silver Ridge HOA. Pause. I need a deputy at our east access corridor. She looked at me. We have a trespasser refusing to leave HO. A controlled property. I stared at her. He has interfered with an authorized contractor and removed community signage. Pause. Yes, he's still here. Then she added, he's becoming confrontational. I said, that's false. She covered the phone. Stop interrupting me. Then, yes. Please send someone. She hung up. Martin looked furious. You just reported him for trespassing? He is trespassing. He says he owns it. He says a lot of things. I looked at Vanessa. I'm going to ask you one last question. What? Who owns the ground you're standing on? Silver Ridge. You're certain? Completely. I could have told her then. I could have said, you should probably know what I do before you tell the sheriff's office the county has already confirmed your position. But that would have missed the point. My occupation had nothing to do with the deed. If I had spent 40 years repairing transmissions, the property line would have been in exactly the same place. So I waited. 12 minutes later, Deputy Ben Carter drove through my gate. Vanessa walked toward him before he had fully closed his door. That's him. Ben followed her finger, then stopped. Judge Hale? Vanessa looked at me, then back at Ben. You know him? Yes, Mom. He nodded toward me. He's the county judge. Silence. Vanessa's face changed, but only for a second. Then she reached into her folder. Perfect. She pulled out a document. County seal, recording number, signatures. Then he should already understand this. She handed it to Ben. The county abandoned this road. Then she looked straight at me. So Judge Hale can explain why he's standing in Silver Ridge's access corridor. Ben looked at the document, then at me. Judge, before we do anything else, I'm a party to this dispute. Vanessa frowned. I continued. You handle this exactly as you would if I were anyone else. Ben nodded. Understood. Vanessa stared at me. You're not going to explain your own county order? No. Why not? Because you called law enforcement on me. So? So Deputy Carter needs to make his own assessment. Her expression changed again. She had expected my title to either intimidate her or give her an argument about favoritism. I gave her neither. Ben turned to Vanessa. What are you asking the sheriff's office to do? Remove him. From where? This HOA access corridor. Is Judge Hale an HOA member? No. Is his parcel inside Silver Ridge? No. Then what establishes HOA control over this strip? She tapped the document. That. Ben read the heading. County Road Vacation Order 2014-17. It was genuine, he asked. What do you believe this order does? The county abandoned the road. Yes. Silver Ridge owns the adjoining property. Okay, so the abandoned corridor became part of Silver Ridge. Ben looked back at the document. Does it say that? It's the legal effect of the order. Do you have a deed? Vanessa's voice tightened. We have the HOA master plan. A recorded deed? The plan identifies the corridor. Recorded easement? The county order establishes it. Ben looked at me. Your documents? I handed him the folder. My deed. My parcel map. My father's deed. The recorded Silver Ridge plat. Ben compared them. Vanessa crossed her arms. You realize he works for the same county that issued the order. Ben looked at her. That's why I'm verifying it independently. He called dispatch. He asked for the parcel record, any recorded interest held by Silver Ridge, and the complete file associated with Road Vacation Order 2014-17. While we waited, Vanessa spoke to me quietly. This is embarrassing. For who? You. How? You're a county judge arguing against your own county's order. No. I looked at the paper in Ben's hand. I'm arguing against your interpretation of it. Same thing. No, it really isn't. The radio crackled. Dispatch confirmed the parcel. Owner. Andrew Hale. No recorded transfer of the parcel to Silver Ridge. No immediately identifiable HOA easement over the strip. Ben looked at Vanessa. Based on what I have right now, I don't have grounds to remove him. You haven't read the entire order. I'm waiting for the complete file. The first page is clear. That may be the problem. She stared at him. Then Ben's tablet chimed. The clerk's office had sent the full road vacation file, 27 pages. Vanessa looked at me. You know what's in there, don't you? I know what I read. And you didn't tell me. You never asked what the order actually did. I told you what it did. That's different. Ben opened the first exhibit, and for the first time since the deputy arrived, Vanessa stopped talking. The original road file included more than the order Vanessa had brought. There was a survey exhibit, a legal description, the petition to vacate the public right-of-way, adjacent owner notices, and an old road map. Ben enlarged the survey. The former public right-of-way appeared as a narrow strip running through the eastern edge of what was then my father's parcel. Ben pointed to the boundary. This is the Hale parcel? Yes. Vanessa leaned toward the screen. The road is separate. No. Ben zoomed in. The public right-of-way is shown inside the parcel. That means the county controlled it. The county controlled the public road interest. Exactly. Ben shook his head. Not the underlying land. Vanessa went quiet. That distinction was the entire case. My father had owned the soil. The county had held a public right to use part of it as a road. When the county vacated that right-of-way, the public road interest disappeared. The dirt did not move. The parcel did not move. And ownership did not jump to a development that later appeared next door. Vanessa pointed to another line. What about adjoining ownership? Ben read the legal description. Then, this identifies the parcel's receiving notice. It doesn't convey this strip. The road had to go somewhere. I finally spoke. It didn't go anywhere. She looked at me. The county stopped using it. That's not the same as giving it away. Ben scrolled farther, then stopped. Here. The original petition listed the adjacent landowners. My father's name was on it. The petition requested vacations because the old route no longer served a public transportation purpose after the newer county road opened. Silver Ridge wasn't listed. The subdivision hadn't even reached its final recorded form when the process began. Martin stepped closer. So Andrew's father owned the land underneath the right-of-way? Ben answered carefully. That's what these records appear to show. Final title questions are civil matters, but I have nothing here supporting a criminal trespass complaint against Judge Hale. Martin looked at Vanessa. You told us the county gave Silver Ridge the corridor. The master plan shows it. That's not what I asked. Vanessa's voice sharpened. Our planning documents were prepared from historic records. Martin pointed at Ben's tablet. That is the historic record. She didn't answer. Then Lisa spoke. Vanessa, did council finish the boundary review? Vanessa turned. What boundary review? The one Thomas requested before construction. Martin looked at Lisa. What? Lisa hesitated. Then, the contractor estimate included title and boundary verification before the trail connection was finalized. Martin looked at Vanessa. You told us legal had cleared the project. They reviewed the concept. That's not what you said at the vote. Vanessa's jaw tightened. This is an internal board matter. Martin ignored her. How much was the verification? $2,700, Lisa said. And we skipped it? Vanessa snapped. We already had sufficient documentation. Martin pointed at my deed. No. We had your map. That was when the argument changed. Until then, Vanessa could claim she had misunderstood an old county order. Now her own board was realizing she had been given an opportunity to verify the boundary before construction. And she had chosen not to. Ben closed the road file. Mrs. Caldwell, I'm not removing Judge Hale. Vanessa looked at him. You're refusing to enforce the county's own order? No. I'm telling you the order does not give me grounds to treat him as a trespasser. He interfered with our contractor. On land the available records identify as his parcel. He removed our signs from the same parcel. She pointed at me. You're taking his side because he's the judge. Ben's expression hardened. No, Mom. He held up my parcel record. I'm looking at the same record I'd look at if his name were Smith. That silenced her. Then Martin pulled out his phone. I'm calling the contractor. Vanessa turned. No, we're suspending the project. You don't have authority to do that alone. Neither did you. I'm board president, and I'm not letting a crew build on disputed land after a deputy just told us we don't have proof we own it. Vanessa looked at Lisa. Tell him. Lisa shook her head. Management is suspending work until council reviews title. For the first time, Vanessa had lost control of everyone around her. She turned back to me. This isn't over. I nodded. You're right. She seemed surprised. I pointed to the county file. Now your board gets to find out why you told them that document gave you something it never gave you. Vanessa didn't answer. She got into her SUV. The red Blazer disappeared behind the tinted window. Martin and Lisa stayed behind. And 20 minutes later, the first contractor truck pulled away. Karen had called the cops to remove me from my own property. Instead, her own project was the thing that got removed. Silver Ridge's attorney contacted mine the next morning. He requested the complete title package. We sent it. My deed, my father's deed, the road vacation order, the full survey exhibit, the recorded Silver Ridge plat, and the HOA master plan Vanessa had relied on. 2 days later, council gave the board his conclusion. Silver Ridge had not established ownership of the disputed strip. There was no recorded easement authorizing the proposed trail connection, and the county road vacation order did not transfer the underlying land to the HOA. Construction remained suspended. The board called an emergency meeting. I attended with my attorney. Before speaking, I made one thing clear. I'm not here as county judge. I placed my deed on the table. I'm here as the person named on this document. The board attorney projected 3 maps. My recorded parcel, the road vacation surveys, the Silver Ridge master plan. The inconsistency was obvious. Then he looked at Vanessa. Can you identify a recorded document giving Silver Ridge ownership or access rights over Mr. Hale's parcel? Vanessa opened her folder. The master plan reflects historic access. That wasn't my question. The county abandoned the road. We've reviewed that. The corridor has been maintained by Silver Ridge. That still wasn't my question. He waited. So did everyone else. Finally, Vanessa said, no, 1 word. That was all it took. The board canceled the trail connection, the stakes and HO. Signs were ordered off my parcel. They also adopted a new requirement. No construction near an uncertain property boundary without title verification. No law enforcement referral over disputed ownership without review by management or council. And Vanessa lost the ability to issue property access enforcement on her own. A month later, she resigned as president. I didn't celebrate. I didn't need to. The best part happened the following week. I drove out to the property and found the community access sign in a new location, about 60 feet east. Inside Silver Ridge, their trail curved north before reaching my gravel lane. My road was quiet again. I parked beside the barn and stood there for a minute. Same gravel, same fence, same property line. Nothing had changed, except now everyone had finally read the documents. A few weeks later, Deputy Carter saw me at the courthouse. He stopped near the elevator. Judge, can I ask you something? Sure. Why didn't you tell Mrs. Caldwell who you were before she called us? I thought about it, then said, because my job wasn't supposed to make me right. He nodded. The record was. Exactly. That was the part Vanessa never understood. She thought authority came from sounding official, from a title, a board vote, a county stamp, a map with the right colors. But none of those things mean more than the rights they actually contain. Vanessa had a real county document. She just needed it to say something it didn't. I happened to be the county judge. That made the moment embarrassing for her. It didn't make the land mine. My deed did. The county had abandoned a road. It had never abandoned my ownership. And once the full record was on the table, Silver Ridge's authority ended exactly where it always had. At my property line.